See if this is working. It says it's working, but I will wait until some people log in. There we go. It's so funny. As I'm seeing names come up on the bottom of the screen, at the top of the screen, it's like all these other Moto studios are starting live classes right now too. That's really cool, actually, to know that even though we are all in our own homes, we're not just practicing within our own community individually, we're practicing with a whole lot of other people in the greater Moto community, which is pretty cool. Hi, everyone. Okay. Welcome. I'm Airly. I think I know everyone who signed in already, but just in case we haven't practiced together before, hi. 60 minutes, straight up Moto. Nice and simple, nice and slow. We'll start in child's pose. You can take whichever version feels best through your knees and through your hips. And if coming into a full knee flexion, like really sitting on your heels, is too much for your knees, you can slide a block under your bum. If coming into a full hip flexion, fully forward, is too much for the front of your hips, slide a block or even just stacked fists under your head. And just relax your belly. And notice your breath. We always start just by noticing. It's funny, I was having a conversation with someone this morning about the simple practice. But simple does not necessarily mean easy. And so we say, just notice your breath as if it's no big deal, as if it's easy. And the reality is the mind is pretty busy, and so throughout the practice, throughout the 60 minutes that we're together here, the mind is going to drift. And a huge aspect of the practice is just to catch that and to bring it back, to find your breath again, and to use that as an anchor to be in your body. Reach your arms forward if they're not already, and then come right up onto fingertips. So you've got little spidey hands. Spin your biceps towards each other and then up towards the ceiling as much as you can. Squeeze your arms straight until your elbows lift, and then drop your head between your arms as low as you can. Your forehead may come to the ground, but it doesn't have to. And then reach forward through your arms, draw your shoulder blades towards each other and down your back. Just get a nice stretch through your shoulders, through your chest. And then plant your palms down firmly. Pull yourself up to hands and knees. You can narrow your knees, walk them back just a couple of inches, and then downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. And just padding through your feet, one then the other, straightening one leg, bending the opposite, and just working into your back chain a little bit. Especially if you're doing this live, morning bodies can be pretty sticky. Walk your feet forward and pretty close to the front of your mat. Bring your hands to your thighs. Press your hands and legs against each other, and then inhale, come on up halfway. Exhale, rise all the way up. Good. Bring your palms to touch right in front of your chest. Close your eyes or just cast your gaze down, keep it blurry. And take a couple breaths in this new orientation. And maybe now feeling it a little more in your upper back, in front of your shoulders, chest. Next time you breathe in, open your eyes. Open your mouth to exhale, lace your fingers, press your palms towards the ground. Draw your lower belly back as you expel all your breath. And then inhale through your nose, reach your palms forward and up, any amount. So your arms don't have to come all the way up by your ears. They stop when you start to feel like that's where they need to stop. Flip and press your palms, open your mouth, exhale. Bring your hands right down center. Lace your fingers as they pass your chest. And then finish your breath out as you squeeze your arms straight. And that's the opening pattern of breath and movement. Through your nose, inhale, arms forward and up. Keep your legs nice and strong. Press your palms, open your mouth, exhale. And think of growing taller through your spine as you press your breath out. A few more like that. Inhale. And your legs are nice and strong, so now as you get to the top of your inhale, try to lift your upper body away from your lower body. And then keep all that space as you exhale. Keep lifting through your chest as you tuck your chin. Last one here. Release your arms by your side. Stand on your left leg for tree. So you'll open your right knee to the side and find a home for your right foot. It can be toes on the ground, inner calf, anywhere up to inner thigh. And then level your hips. Squeeze your leg and foot towards each other. Bring your hands to center. And just like you did when you were in that opening pranayama practice, out of the strength of your lower body, lift your upper body. And you can stay here with hands at heart. You can reach them up. I'm a huge fan actually of flexing my wrists and pressing my hands away. And it creates a really nice stretch up through my arms. Notice if the concentration required to stay balanced here has looped you into a breath holding pattern. Keep your breath moving. And then inhale, hands back to center, knee to center. Exhale, foot to the ground, arms by your side. Second side. So tree, Vrikshasana. Now, in the Moto style practice, or the Hatha yoga practice, take your left bum cheek down towards your standing foot. Good, and lift the center of your chest up towards your thumbs. And then option to reach your arms any direction. In the Hatha yoga practice, different than flow or vinyasa, we do still move on breath always. Every movement rides a breath, but it's much less focused on the transitions between poses and more on the actual being in the poses themselves. Feel here a lift through the front of your spine and a reach from your collarbones. Even if your arms are here, can you still broaden your collarbones? On an inhale, hands to center if they're not already there, left knee forward. And then exhale, bring your left foot down, bring your big toes to touch, or as narrow a stance as you comfortably can. Reach up on an inhale. And then turn your palms forward, hold your left wrist, exhale, side bend right. Now root down through your right foot, reach down through your left leg. Take a breath into your left rib cage, and maybe even look up under your left arm. Come on back up on an inhale. Switch your grip, exhale, side bend left. And you do everything you just did on the other side, opposite. So root through your left foot, reach through your right, as if your legs started up sort of in your lower back. Reach from that point. And then lift your side ribs towards the ceiling with your breath. Option to look up. Come on, back up, inhale. Then exhale, just reach your arms forward. Separate your feet For powerful pose or chair pose, bum back, heart up. And now bring a little bit more weight into your heels. And then press down through your feet as if you were going to straighten your legs. Feel how that engages around your legs and in your glutes. Lift the center of your chest up through the space between your arms. And then imagine puffing your back, your upper back, into the space behind you, and at the same time reaching forward through your fingertips. And this is one of those poses where you're like, do I really want to really take the time to be here and be in it? Or can we just move on? Nope. Take the time. Be in the heat that's building in your legs. Be in the change of your breath that's required to fuel this pose, to fuel your body. Stay 2 more cycles. Squeeze your arms until they're straight. And then inhale, straighten your legs. Reach up, arms by your ears. And they can be wide. I'm going to bring my feet a little bit closer together just for my own comfort and balance. You can too if you want. Lift your heels. Balance right in the center of the balls of your feet. Keep lifting up through the crown of your head. Squeeze your legs towards each other. Option to bend your knees. If when you bend your knees your heels fall, or if keeping your heels high is enough work for you today, then just keep your legs straight. Keep your breath moving. And as soon as your mind drifts, you'll lose your breath. So the breath really is the anchor, the harness to keep the mind in the practice. Straighten your legs on an inhale. Release your arms, release your heels as you exhale. Reach up, inhale. And as you exhale, take your right arm under. Now for eagle, hugging opposite shoulders can feel really good in the upper back, or lace your wrists. Bend your knees, cross your right leg up and over the left. You want to cross as high up your inner thighs as you can, and then squeeze your outer shins towards each other. Draw your right hip back. Lift the center of your chest up. Keep breathing. Press your elbows forward slightly. And reach up through your fingertips. Notice where you feel the stretch. Notice your breath will go there once your attention rests there. Next breath in, release. You unravel and reach up. Exhale, take left arm under. Either bind works. Bend your knees, cross left leg over. There is value, there's lots of value in a style of practice where there's a lot of movement and transitions get a big focus. And there's a lot of value in this style of practice where we just let ourselves be in the shapes for a while and see how the body unravels, to negotiate all the little micro movements to keep us steady, to create more space, to notice the mind's response when we really want to get out of them. Couple more breaths here. Nice squeeze through your limbs and breathe wider into your lungs. Next breath in, release, reach up. Press your palms together, exhale, bring your hands, center your chest. And then again, bring your feet as close together as is comfortable. Sit back and down. This time fold your torso forward a little bit more firmly towards your thighs, but keep your spine nice and long. Take a breath in. Exhale, twist to your left. So your elbow, I like elbow between my knees to start. And as you slowly rotate, low belly, rib cage, Then your shoulders, you may have more space to slide your elbow outside the opposite thigh. Press your palms together firmly. Take a breath in, draw your crown forward and your tailbone back. Keep that line. Exhale, wrap around it. A little use of imagination. Unravel on an inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit back down. Stay for a breath in. Exhale, twist right. So you use your palms to press against each other to keep nice and broad through the front of your chest, the front of your lungs. If getting an elbow to your legs causes you to round and lose all that space, then just bring your, oh hey kitty, bring your arm to your legs, right hand to the back of your pelvis. Hey bud. More weight through your heels, last breath in. Stay for the exhale. Untwist, reach up, inhale. Circle your arms down as you exhale. Separate your feet just a little bit. Bring your hands to the back of your hips. Good. Use your hands to press the back of your hips down so you feel your lower back get longer right here. And then again, lift out of that. So for back bends, it's always length first. In this case, it's up and then back. It's not a huge arc. It's more like a abdomen lengthener, front shoulder widener. Breathe out completely with every exhalation just so your lower belly supports your lower back. Breathe into your collarbones. Come on back up on an inhale. Just release your arms by your side as you exhale. Either gaze blurry or eyes closed, just a couple breaths to feel. Even when we hold poses for longer, there's still always movement. It's nice to just take little pauses of stillness and just to feel the effects of the practice. Okay, open your eyes. Bring your hands to your hips. I'm going to come into the standing, first couple standing poses with some balance work. So stand on your left leg. Give your right leg something to do. It's going to reach back, give it direction. So bend your standing leg, your left leg, tilt your torso forward, take your chest forward as you shoot your right leg back as far as you can so you land in a long stride. And then you may need to wiggle your foot around and find the length that works. Front shin vertical, back leg long. Back heel up over your back toes. And then just bring your hands to your front thigh and press down against your leg. Feel your lower belly move away from your leg when you do that. Option to stay here or reach your arms by your side, but keep that distance, that clearance between your torso and your thigh. Squeeze your right thigh, your quads, to straighten your leg. Squeeze your right bum cheek to get a little bit of a stretch in the front of that hip. And then take your gaze slightly forward, reach your fingertips back. And actually reach, it's not just arms by your side, it's action through your arms. Good, next breath in, lift your shoulders over your hips, sweep your arms up. And by sweech, I mean sweep. And then exhale, bend your front knee. Stay in that depth of knee bend. Inhale, lift up through your torso. Good, exhale, circle your arms down, hands to hips. Bend your back knee. Step up. Good. Switch sides. Reach back through your left. So your right knee comes forward, same direction as your right toes. Torso forward. And then place as quietly as possible left foot back of your mat. Start with hands on your front thigh. Press your hands and legs against each other. And while you're here, square your hips as much as you can. So think of taking your left hip forward and your right hip back. Then reach your arms back. And it's not just a reach of your arms that's creating action and strength in your upper body. Think of engaging between the back of your armpits and the back of your waist. Your collarbones can get broader. And as your arms reach back, reach forward through the crown of your head. Next breath in, reach your arms up, crescent lunge. Weight through your front heel, exhale, bend that knee. Any amount. Might just be a millimeter more. And then lift the front of your torso. Lift through your arms, lift through your pinky and ring fingertips. Then exhale, hands to hips. Bend your back knee. Step up, up. Balance is not my friend today. Okay, come to the middle of your mat. So we're really taking out all the down dog, step forward stuff today. Turn to face the long edge and then step your feet nice and wide. Turn your left foot in, just a tiny bit, just a couple of degrees. Turn your right toes to point to the short end of your mat. With your hands on your hips, level them out. And then look at your right knee as you bend it, track it in the same direction as your foot. Now because your back foot's turned in, your hips will be rotated a little bit. That's good, keep them there, but then pin your left shoulder back so it's square to the long edge of your mat. Reach through your arms. Notice when you pin your left shoulder back, if your right knee wanted to sag in towards the big toe edge of your foot, press it wide. And then as you look over your right hand, reach through your back leg, your left leg. For bent leg triangle, turn your thumbs up. Bring your right forearm onto your right thigh. Press those 2 points together, just like you did in runner's lunge. Reach your left arm up. Now, option 1 is to stay here. That's what I'm going to do. Option 2, straighten your right arm and press your arm and leg against each other so it's back of your right forearm against right inner knee or thigh. Back to warrior 2, inhale. Level your hips, stay for the exhale. And then hands to hips, inhale, straighten your right leg. And just flip-flop your feet. So right toes turn slightly in, left toes forward. Lift your left hip point. Reach through your right leg as you bend your left knee. Knee and toes, same line. And then reach through your arms, look to your left hand, lengthen your right leg. If you're carrying any tension in your face, relax it. And notice if that lets you breathe a little bit deeper. Flip your palms, left forearm down, right arm up. The tendency here is to drop all the weight and work into the front leg. Keep your back leg alive. Keep your top arm alive, even if you choose to straighten the bottom one, and press that arm and leg together. So you're getting more to the back of your shoulder and definitely into your hips. Back to warrior 2. Lift your left hip point, bend your left knee, look to your left hand, reach through your right arm. And then hands to hips, straighten your left leg. Parallel your feet, and you may want to narrow your stride a bit. And then go a couple degrees further and pigeon toe your feet, just the tiniest bit. It's going to help facilitate a forward fold. With your hands on your hips, get as tall as you can on an inhale. And then feel like your pelvis is tilting over the top of your thigh bones as you exhale. And that's your fold. And you go as far as you can here, until you feel a max out on stretch in the back of your body. Bend your knees if you need to. Hands can come to a block or to the ground. We're going to be here for a few breaths. So rather than trying to get into your deepest fold right away, be strong through your legs. Press down through the outer edges of your feet. Lift up and wide through your hips. And let just time and breath create space in your body so you can actually feel yourself melt into the shape. And eventually, you may walk your hands between your feet, depending on how far you fold, but it might be more reasonable to just stay in this sort of half lift shape. You will round a tiny bit in your spine, but it's more like the rounding that's in child's pose versus a huge C curve in your spine. And use this as a chance to smooth and slow your breath. Lots of work in the legs so that your upper body can be a little bit freer. 2 more cycles of breath. Feel it move through the shape. And then bring your hands under your shoulders if they're not already there. Take that half lift on your inhale. Hands to hips. Little bend at least in your knees. Exhale, come all the way up. Nice and slowly. Then either heel toe or step your feet together and turn to face the front of your mat. Keep your hands on your hips. Step your left foot, just a baby step forward for toppling tree. Start with your left leg bent and then reach through your right leg so it's super straight. Without leaning forward a whole lot, lift your right toes off the ground. The lift is initiated right where your leg meets your bum. Just do that a few times. Find that strength point and then hold it strong. Start to teeter. Same thing, pelvis over the top of your thigh bone in your left leg. Left knee is bent, so you're taking the hamstring stretch out of it at least a little bit. Keep your hands on your hips or reach them long by your side, same as runner's lunge. Option to push down through your standing foot to straighten your standing leg. Try to keep an even distribution of weight through your standing foot. Lift up through the outer edge of your standing hip. And roll your flying thigh, your right thigh, down. So you're rolling sort of the outer edge of that leg down towards the ground. Next time you breathe out, stand up, right leg to left, slides past it, little step, front of your mat. Stand on a bent right leg, reach through your left. Couple times, just hover your right or left toes off the ground. So the movement of that leg comes from here. And then the lift of the leg initiates the forward and lowering of the torso. Option to reach your arms. Every breath out, lower belly draws back. And every breath in, reach your heart forward. Strong arms, soft gaze. And slide your left leg to right. And just take a pause, 2 feet on the ground. Loop your right shoulder, use your inhale. Bring your right shoulder up, circle it back so your arm naturally turns out and your thumb points back. From there, grab your right foot. And if your foot gets to about here, you can use a strap, or you can keep it here. This is actually a lot of work to just hold your leg bent. You can take your left hand to your lower belly to start. Take a breath in. Exhale, start to kick your right shin back. And it'll start to draw that shoulder back, a nice stretch through your upper body. And you can reach forward, you can reach up. So all the same actions as you just did in your standing leg in toppling tree, you're doing them here in dancer's pose too. And over time, you can fine tune the shape. So squeeze your right glutes, kick a little stronger, and you might actually, there's this really nice, stay in dancers, but there's this really nice like release through the front of the shoulder, an evolution into the twist in the upper body. Stay one more breath. And slowly, right leg to left. Then release your foot. Release your arm. Switch sides. Inhale, exaggerate that left shoulder up. Circle your arm open. Grab your left foot. Start by pulling your legs towards each other. So it's really just a quad stretch at this point. And then you kick back, comes more to the front of the hip. And if you keep your hips square, the kicking action as it pulls your left shoulder back, you can feel the twist start to ravel. Couple more breaths. And even if you lean super far forward, there's tons of different versions of this pose, but if you lean really far forward on your standing leg, try to stay high through your heart. And keep the kicking action as you pull your left leg in. And foot to the ground. Couple breaths in mountain pose. Relax your shoulder blades on your upper back, so they don't have to be rigid and militant. They shouldn't be rigid and militant. And just give yourself a chance to just let your skeleton sort of stack here. Make your way onto your back for Shavasana. Just a little pause. So head facing the front of your mat. Legs can be outstretched. I'm actually going to do constructive rest pose. If legs long tweaks your lower back at all, it's nice to bring your feet to the ground, let your knees fall against each other. And then arms just wherever they're comfortable. Just feel your heartbeat. Become aware of it and maybe watch it slow. Let your breath settle. And we're not doing a lot of action. There's like a million things to think about in every pose. And you can actually get really spinny in your mind in them rather than calm. But at least there's so much to pay attention to here. There's less so, but can you still stay with it? And if you have drifted off, it happens all the time. Take a slightly deeper breath, bring yourself back. Bring the soles of your feet to the ground. Cross your right ankle to left thigh. And then start just by pressing your ankle and leg against each other. And press your right inner thigh and knee away from your right shoulder as far as you can. And you may already feel a stretch here. And if you do, then stay. This is thread the needle. If you don't really, then lift your left foot off the ground, pull your legs towards you. And even like halfway there might bring the stretch in. If you can lace your hands around the back of your left leg, with or without a strap, and keep your shoulders and head on the ground, then do that. If your head and shoulders lift, then either use a strap or just leave the clasp out of it. Chances are if your head and shoulders have to lift to grab your leg, then you're already getting a stretch wherever you are. Just rock side to side a couple times. It doesn't matter if you do option 1 or option 2 or option 3. It doesn't matter if you use a prop or not. What matters is that you're getting the benefit of the shape. And you'll get the benefit of whatever shape you're in if it's practiced honestly for your body. Switch sides. And being able to spend time in these shapes and to really feel our way through them gives us a chance to figure out what is honest for the body and what is the mind saying, I want to do that, or I should be able to do that, or yesterday I could do that. None of those things matter. What matters is what's going on right now. So feel what's going on right now and take your breath to it. Then release that, bring your legs to tabletop. So shins parallel to the ground, thighs vertical. Place your palms and your palms on your thighs. And then root your tailbone down so your lower back arches a little bit. Next time you breathe out, recommit. Belly button towards spine so that lower back arch neutralizes again. Keep that. Take a wide breath in. Exhale, start to press your hands and legs against each other as firmly as you can. You'll feel your lower belly kick in. That's what we want. Keep breathing wide so you can get enough breath, but keep the lower belly strength. Relax your jaw between your eyebrows and redirect that energy, that effort, to your lower belly. And maybe to the sides of your waist, because this is a full circumference abdominal work or core work. Last 2 breaths. Good, then release, bring your feet to the floor for bridge. So about hip width apart-ish, whatever, just a comfortable distance. Bring your arms by your sides. Press down through your heels, lift your hips. And squeeze your bum to lift your pelvis as high as you can. And then maybe creep your shoulders a little bit closer towards each other under you. Draw your inner thighs towards each other. Lengthen your tailbone to the space between them. And then think of lifting the front of your chest by scooping your shoulder blades into the back of your lungs. I like to leave my arms just straight here, but you can lace your hands behind your back, so long as the front of your shoulders stay nice and broad when you do. You just worked your quads and your hip flexors a lot in that ab work, so think of stretching that here. And slowly lower down. Just take 1 cycle of breath in stillness. And sometimes 1 breath is all you need. Flip over to your belly. Good. Point your toes, root the tops of your feet down. And then root your pubic bone down, and you'll feel right away your lower back get nice and long. You want to keep that the whole time we're doing Cobra and Locust. For Cobra today, we'll take a wide one. Bring your hands off your mat. Fingertips on the ground like that first child's pose we did. And then loop your shoulders onto your back. Press down through your fingertips, but it's mostly spine strength that lifts you into baby Cobra. So keep your legs heavy and strong. Press down through your pubic bone, down through your fingertips. Take a breath in. Exhale, look to your right, broaden your left collarbone. Come back to center, inhale. Exhale, look left, broaden your right collarbone. Back to center, inhale. Exhale, look left, look right, broaden your left elbow. Back to the middle. Exhale, look left, broaden your right elbow. Back to center, inhale. Keep your upper body lifted. Reach your arms by your side, palms down. Squeeze your arms straight. Keep squeezing your legs straight, but float them too. Full locust, Purna Shalabhasana. And rather than think of lifting higher, think of getting longer with every breath. Longer through 4 limbs. Longer through your spine. Slowly lower, bring one ear to the ground. Just rest your arms. And turn your other ear down. And you can repeat either of those poses or bend your knees for bow. So those first, Cobra and Locust, are really, really great spine strengtheners, back bends. But if you can grab your feet, grab them. Lengthen your tailbone just like you did in bridge. Take a breath in, and then exhale, start to kick back just like you did in dancers. So we spend time in these shapes and we start to see them repeat themselves. When we come back to them again and again, it's one of the values of a set series. And we get to renegotiate and rediscover based on the body we have today. Stay 2 more breaths. And slowly lower down. Keep your forehead on the ground this time. Straighten your legs again. Oh, I just kicked my cat. Straighten your legs. Point your toes. And then bring your palms down by your side ribs. Same as if you were doing normal Cobra. Press down through the heels of your hands and your index knuckles. Start to peel yourself up. So you come into like a baby Cobra, but now use some arm strength. And now use leg strength. Kick down through the tops of your feet. Upward facing dog, it's just your hands and feet on the ground. Up dog, your hips can be high. And then heart forward. This is a back bend. You lower your hips only as much as your lower belly can support your lower back. Lift and broaden your collarbones. Press your hands down firmly. Feet down firmly. Stay 1 more breath in. And then come over your toes, downward facing dog. On an inhale, come forward to plank. For this first one, at least, bring your knees to the ground. Exhale, lower to your belly. Keep your upper arms close by your side. Point your toes. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, press back through that knee down plank. Downward facing dog. Stay for a breath. Now here is the flow. Less time in each shape, but can you be as mindful? Come forward to plank. Inhale. Option to keep your legs straight this time. My knees are coming down. Lower to your belly again. And then inhale, Cobra or upward facing dog from your belly. So it's like a push-up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for a breath. Strong arms, strong legs. A few more like that. Come forward to plank. Inhale without rushing. So flows don't have to be fast. Exhale, lower all the way or to hover. And then inhale, Cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Stay for a breath. Forward to plank, inhale. Chaturanga Dandasana with legs straight or knees bent. Cobra or upward facing dog on your inhale. Nice and slow to down dog on your exhale. Stay.
And either stay here or find child's pose or do one more flow on your own. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Keep both hands evenly rooted. Inhale, lift your right leg, and then bend your right knee. Open your pelvis to the side of your mat or the side of the room. Lift your right knee as high as you can, and then squeeze that knee bent. You get a nice stretch to the front of that thigh. Press down through your left heel. Get light through your left toes. Get into your calf a little bit more. You can even bend that knee a tiny bit to do that. And then square your hips, bring your right knee forward for pigeon. And before you just collapse into pigeon, stay pretty upright. Tuck your back toes, straighten your back legs so your knee's off the ground. And then press through your heel, your back heel, so you actually pull your hips back in space a little bit. Draw your right hip back, and then try to place your back thigh down. Untuck your back toes. And then walk your hands a little bit forward. First couple breaths, plant your hands like down dog. Lock your elbows. It's fine, you're not really weight bearing. And then push your hands down and forward to drive your hips back, especially your right outer hip. Press down through your right foot and shin. And now come on to spidey fingers again. So it's these little tent fingers. Walk them forward, and just like that opening child's pose, keep your arms straight. So you squeeze the back of your upper arms, bring your ears between your arms. Option to forehead to the ground, if it's an option. And then come back up, flat palms. So you're coming up just to this like angled shape. Walk your hands and your torso to your left, but keep drawing your right outer hip back. And then I tent my left hand out beside me, and I keep reaching really long through my right arm. Forehead down again. And come back to center. Plant your hands. Step back, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg on an inhale. Bend your left knee, open your hips to the side. Squeeze your left knee bent. And then bend your standing leg too. Bend your right leg. Draw your right outer hip back. Heavy through your right heel. Light through your right toes. Press down through the ball of that foot. And come back square. Left foot forward. Pigeon. Or pigeon prep, actually. And the same thing. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. And then press back through your heels. So you're actually pulling your hips back. And then thigh down. Re-lengthen through the front of that foot or ankle. Press down through your left foot, left shin, hands forward, and just root your hips back. Palms down, arms straight. And we take these slightly little variations, just a couple breaths in each, but a couple of breaths can be enough. It can be a decent amount of time. And I think we find, so walk your hands forward, those spidey hands now, ears between your arms. The more we practice, the more pliable the body becomes, the quicker it is to respond. And the more we will feel its willingness to unravel, its willingness to soften. And root your palms down, come on back up just a tiny bit. Walk to your right. Keep your left outer hip drawn back. And then tent your right fingertips out beside you. Reach your left arm long. Notice your breath. And feel it create space. Ask it to, direct it to create space wherever space is needed. And come back to center. Come on back up. Super brief downward facing dog. Just to neutralize between sides. And bring your knees to the ground. We'll do Kapalabhati here, seated, and then we'll come onto the back, our backs, and do a reclined twist before Shavasana. So sit comfortably. I'm actually going to sit on my block between my feet, so I'm still sitting on my shins, but there's not as much weight and compression on my knees. In the yoga studio, we practice Kapalabhati in and out through the mouth. This is a heating, clarifying breath. And we're doing it at the end of practice, and we're doing it to expel the breath from the bottom of our lungs and to neutralize the oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in our body. But because we're not in the heat, we don't have to release as much heat. So you can practice this in and out through your nose, which is the traditional way of doing it, if you want. I think today I'm going to do it through my mouth just because I've got some sniffs going on. And that would be a bad scene. So sit up nice and tall. Just palms restful on your thighs, or wherever is restful in whatever shape you're in. Exhale completely. Take a nice full breath in. Let half of it go. Pause and begin. So keep going. It's a quick snap back at the lower belly. It's like a cough or a sneeze. And don't think about the inhalations. They'll just happen. So every time you breathe out, lower belly snaps back really quickly. Inhales are easy. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Return to normal breath. Then come onto your back. We'll do a brief reclined twist and maybe a happy baby. Excuse me, kitten. So with your feet on the floor, scoot your hips a couple of inches to your right. Spread your arms nice and wide, and then drop your knees to your left. And find that happy medium between sliding your top thigh, so your right thigh, forward so that your knees and thighs stay stacked, and dropping your right shoulder and shoulder blade really heavy to the ground. Notice where you feel your breath move. Notice the quality of space behind your eyes. Come back to center. Move your hips a few inches in the other direction and set up for twist on the other side. One of the many benefits of just spending some time in these shapes is that we get a chance to notice not just the body's response, not just the mind's response, but the physiological response. And can you actually feel in the space behind your eyes like a softening in your brain? A signal that your nervous system is just gearing down. It's almost like to me, it just feels like a really satisfying exhale. And we get a little bit more of that every time we discover an area of tension and we just let it go. Not a knot in the body necessarily, but just like, oh, I'm holding my right shoulder. Can it just be a little heavier to the ground? Come back to center. The poor cat, always underfoot today. He keeps getting kicked. Okay, draw your knees in towards your chest. Grab either behind your knees or around your shins. Compression to your lower belly. One last stretch to the back of the hips. And then set yourself up for Shavasana, whatever shape is most restful, is most comfortable. You want to feel like your body can just be out of the way. So no tension, no distracting little tweaks or pulls. Swallow to relax your jaw. And create a little bit more space inside your mouth. Relax the muscles around your eyes. The space around your belly. And rather than trying to pay attention to responses, just be here. There's nothing to do. You've done it. If you have more time, please stay if you need to or you want to. This is one pose, one part of the practice that is worth spending as much time as you can in. If 60 minutes is your window, we're coming up to it. Take your time as you move into whatever is next. And gratitude to all of our teachers and the ancestors of these traditions. And so much gratitude to every single one of you for your time and your practice and your presence. Happy Friday.